Alright, welcome back to the channel. So, we are restoring today an old Coleman Lantern. You can see this was, I guess they're supposed to be like a chrome finish, but this is what they look like after years. So, I finally got a glass for it. It was missing the glass when I got it. I think I paid like 15 bucks for this thing, but it didn't have glass. So, I started restoring some of it. You can see like I cleaned the top came out good, the brass nut, I polished that, but mainly I'm trying to focus on the finish. So this is basically a lesson on how to not ruin the finish, because you can ruin the polish and you'll never get that shine back. It's like a nickel plating, so once you ruin it, it's done. Basically it'd be gold underneath if you get down to bare metal, I think. It's like here, you see where it's like brazed or like welded. You have like brazing marks in there. But either way, I think these are from like the 40s, 1940s. So you can see where I started some of the polishing here. So, yeah. So I found that steel wool, but it has to be the 00, so the double odd 0. If you go extra fine, like I have that one too, it doesn't give you the same finish. It almost, like, it'll be shiny, but it's kind of dull. So actually, if you read the back, that's why instructions are important. So if you read the back, it actually tells you what you're trying to do. So like you see, super fine. So the double odd, look, polish and restore aluminum, copper, brass. So I decided, well, they probably know more than me, and they were right. So that's what this is. So basically, I can demonstrate. So basically, you just kind of work at it. That's all, little by little. You can go in either direction, but now I'm sure I could polish this with like a paste when I'm done, if I really want to. But I've restored a bunch of these Coleman Lanterns. I have my methods on how I restore them and keep them nice. So obviously you don't have to do this on every single one, because not all of them come polished. But just that, let's see what that looks like. Yeah, so there you go. So you could see how much of a polish that brings back, but there's still like staining. You can see that staining. But that's what I think the polish should be for. When I'm all done with this, I'm probably gonna hit it with that polish. It's like the same polish that you use on like automotive. So like, for instance, like Blue Magic. Blue Magic is a good polish for cars. That stuff works great on this. Also, I have buffing wheels on grinders. You can probably do that too, and pick some kind of polishing compound for that. But this is how I do my Coleman Lanterns. Now, oh yeah, most of that's coming back. I can't complain. I cannot complain. To me, that looks great. I've been waiting probably been waiting 10 years to finish this lantern, because I just didn't have a glass for it. So now I'll bring over some other ones and show you. Some other ones that I have. So we'll get this guy out of the way. So here's my 220F. 220F or 220K. So there's that one. So this one I have the case. Yes, the case is nice to have. See, there's storage at the bottom on this one. So I keep like spare generators in there. Mantles, even though these are basically what I learned about modern Coleman Lanterns modern mantles. These are like new production. You get them at Walmart, wherever. These are garbage. They don't last. They fall off. They're garbage. Now these are like the old ones. You could tell. Sometimes you get them when you get lanterns. You get the old silkies. So the older ones are obviously better. There's better companies out there for mantles. I think Peerless mantles are some of the best ones, and they're affordable. So Peerless brand, you can find them on eBay, wherever, Amazon. And obviously you got a lighter, the wrench, so tools are nice. But this one already has that. It has like that. You basically send this rod up, and you could turn it, and it sparks at the globes, and then it just lights them up that way. That's just an accessory. These are cool when you find them with that. But still holds pressure. So I use basically like for oiling the leather cup, like they even tell you to oil. They even tell you to oil it, so you oil it through that little hole. So I just use like something like 30 weight oil, some kind of oil. Any oil is better than nothing at this point. Most people don't even oil them. So that just keeps them soft and supple. There's a leather cup in there. Actually, leather cups last a long time if you maintain them. They almost last forever. Over the rubber ones, they'll actually just dry out. So there's still pressure in this one. Okay. So this is a 220F. Same thing. You know, this got polished with, again, price steel wool. You know, the bottom, you know, is already in great shape. But when I do clean these, and like for example, like the tops, you can see how nice they look. I use, actually here we go. I use this. So I use like a silicone spray. So when I'm done restoring a lantern, basically I'll use like a silicone spray, and this basically prevents, here, for example, like, I'm just giving you an example, like, oh, this one's dead, this can's dead. Well, whatever, so you get the idea. So I use like a silicone spray and spray the whole lantern top to bottom. I even spray the inside. So I'll show you here. So I'll even, when I'm done cleaning the inside here, when I clean the inside of the hat, I'll use it on the inside. I'll use it obviously in the top. It definitely helps resist chipping, and obviously silicone is a high heat protectant, so it can withstand the high heats. So here's a cool Pyrex glass. This one's pretty neat. So I found that one along the way. So there you go. There's that. This was restored at one time, but again, they're gonna get dirty. It's not gonna stay brass. But especially in here, this is where I spray the silicone. I tend to make sure I get it all in here, down here, and obviously underneath of it, because that's where these always rust, especially on these bars here. They rust here. So you could see this one has like no rust in it. I could easily go back and, let's say, hit it real quick and repolish it, but at least I don't have to deal with rust. So this is how I preserve my work, because obviously this stuff takes way too much time to do. You know, my life's not getting any longer, so, you know, when I restore something, I want it to last. I want to be able to put it on the shelf, come back 10 years later, and it still looks the way I left it. So I'm not trying to restore things 10 times in my life. One time and that's it. So yeah, that's how I do it. That's how I restore and preserve my Coleman lanterns. Let me put the hat back on here. I wonder if I can fire this thing right up. But so this one is Sunshine of the Night, Coleman. 1964 is the date on this one. So yeah, 220F, 1964. Yeah, even the bottom, you can see like that silicone helps a lot. So when you sit, like obviously you're gonna always have that little wear here, but when you sit these things in dirt, because they're for camping, you know, and you sit them on the ground, they're gonna eventually, the rim is gonna eventually develop rust, and it creeps to the paint, and then all the inside will chip, then the outside will chip. So that's why the silicone is definitely your friend. That stuff is awesome. That's my little trick. It's probably the best tip with these things. So yeah, that's probably a good example of a halfway decent, a clean one. Obviously, there's this one that's coming along. She's gonna look pretty when she's done. As far as caps, like you could even hear this one stayed pressurized. Like that's how you know when they stay pressurized like that. That's a really good sign. So inside the cap, I usually put like a little bit of silicone grease. You know, just a little bit. Don't go crazy. And then obviously you gotta keep the rim here smooth. Sometimes I'll polish the rim just to get a better sealing surface, but yeah. So yeah. And I don't know if anybody knows, as far as firing these things up, here, let's fire this one up, why not? So I'll take the hat off, I'll just show you, I'll just demonstrate it this way. Let me give you guys a better angle. So, now you guys can see. So basically, and also these are great for, these are actually really good for hurricanes, stuff like that. If you're a prepper, this is the way to go. I found propane is not as efficient to me. You know, you'll rip through more propane. Like a can of this, like a can of fuel for this. Like you can get these 1 gallon cans at Walmart. You can get this is like an off-brand, and the off-brand stuff works just as good as the Coleman fuel. It's all white gas, it's fine. So for the price of this lasts me years, especially if you're just camping. But and if you're in a pinch, you can use gasoline. It just smells a little more. Yeah, it smells a little more, and it might gum up the car, the generators. There's your generator right here. There's a little rod that you can take off and clean out. But for the most part, I never had a clogged generator, because if I run gasoline temporary and I go back to white gas, it usually kind of cleans it out. But anyway, so this is the part where you gotta pump it like a million times. You have to pump it more if your tank is empty. When your tank is full, you only have to pump it maybe 10 times and the tank is pressurized. So you pump like crazy. Obviously well, I didn't show you that part, but it tells you anyway. It says open and close. So you open it and then pump. And then when you're done pumping, for example, when I'm done, then I just clockwise close it, and that's it. So basically, these can get a little crazy, but you gotta open it. You could probably hear the gas. And you can hear the fuel. You can hear the fuel kind of seeping, like hissing with the gas. It's like a crackling noise. That crackling noise is the fuel coming through with the gas, or your pressure, should I say. So the way it works is, it says open a quarter, open it a quarter only. So like for example, that'd be a quarter, and then you're supposed to light. Oh, stupid lighter. Now you could cheat. Sometimes I cheat and I open it more, but then you get too much gas coming out at the same time. So you could just be patient and wait. There you go. They're starting to light. Here, we'll cheat a little bit, but you got to do it quick. When you open it too much, I would not try to light it like if you're gonna light it. So there you go. There you go. You can't open the gas and then go to light it because then it gets crazy. You have to have like a flame there at all times, and then you pump like crazy. See, right now we open it too much, but that's why it says quarter, but whatever. So we'll do a quarter, and more pressure is what calms it down. There you go. So more pressure, because basically the generator has to heat up to turn the gasoline or white gas. The fuel turns into a mist, like a vapor. Instead of coming out as a stream, it comes out as a misted vapor, and that's the whole point of the globes. Here, I'll show you. That's the whole point of the globe. The globe's on each side, and the generator goes in between there. So once the globes are lit, it heats up the generator and turns the fuel into a vapor fuel, and that's the key. So you don't get all these flames, but the key is you just want to keep pumping it. So now that they're lit, technically you're supposed to open it all the way, like all the way. Keep down. And once you hit all the way, I usually just crack it back a little bit. I don't like to have it all the way open. So I'll just turn it clockwise a quarter turn. That's it. Now this is this is for cleaning. This lever here, this is to clean the generator. There you go. Wow. So that made a huge difference. So that basically cleans the needle in your generator. Like, the needle is so fine, so small, like one little particle of carbon, like that's it. It's not gonna work. So you basically turn this a couple times and it cleans. Basically, like, the needle in the generator goes up and down, and it cleans the tip. Is basically what you're doing here. So yeah, there you go. That's awesome. So that's working great. Then you put your globe back on carefully. Of course, it can be hot in there. Now you don't have to do it that way. You can obviously have the whole thing assembled, and you're supposed to stick a match. There's a match hole on both sides. There's like two of them, two big holes underneath. Yeah, there's two big. There you go. You can see one of the big holes there. So the match would go in here or on the other side. But the thing is, like, if you have too much gas coming in at one time, it gets a little scary. So I kind of do it this way sometimes. But yeah, so that's the Coleman Lantern. These are great for survival, camping. So, one thing I can say is, if you had to choose one Coleman white gas product, so like, meaning white gas, that's white gas, I would choose the Lantern. Don't bother with the heater. They have like a catalyst heater. That thing's stinky, it's disgusting, and it smells. It's useless, basically. I found that I would camp with one of these, and if I am brave enough to have this in a tent, I would put it in a 5-gallon bucket. I would center it in a 5-gallon bucket, and you could kind of put them on low sometimes, and it would heat up the tent no problem. Like, these things produce a lot of heat. So the Lantern produces just as much heat as the stupid catalyst stove or heat, or whatever you want to call that thing that's filled with asbestos. I would not run that thing. I got rid of mine. That thing is useless. So this is the way to go. Just get the Lanterns, because you got light, you got heat, you got everything you need in one package pretty much. And these things are very, very efficient. They sip the fuel. They don't rip through the fuel at all. So, like, here I got some military ones too. Those are pretty cool. So yeah, that's a quick video on your basic Coleman Lantern. Obviously restoration tips, how to preserve them. So yeah, hope you liked the video. Like and subscribe. Let me know what you want to see. You want to see more survival videos, prepping videos? Let me know what you want to see. Obviously I don't think you guys want to see chainsaws.